right, hey everybody, again, this is Phil Grigsby with the National Weather Service, and we'll go ahead and go through our weekly weather briefing here for Thursday. So the biggest thing to talk about is that we do now have a marginal risk of severe storms as well as flooding rainfall, and this really looks like it's going to be for Saturday night when we have our next cold front come through. Once the cold front passes by, it looks like it's going to stall just offshore. About maybe 100 to 150 miles offshore, and it's going to allow for a low pressure system to form early next week. We aren't really going to see any rainfall or anything. We'll be on the drier side, but we will have a very sustained and persistent strong east wind out over the waters. So we're going to have hazardous conditions. This is really for any maritime interest listening or the Coast Guard listening. We're going to have hazardous conditions for small craft starting Sunday night and going all the way through Thursday. We'll have winds out of the east and east-northeast at 20 to 25 knots, and wind gusts up around 30 knots. So we're going to have seas up to 8 feet out there. So just something, there might be some search and rescue and things like that that may have to happen as people get stranded out there if they do go out and they're inexperienced. And then with that sustained east wind, especially as we move into the mid part of next week, we may start to see some coastal flooding issues on the east facing shore. So some of our more prone spots there in St. Bernard Parish and in Hancock County, you guys, if you're listening, that may be something that we have to be worried about in the middle of next week. Otherwise, cooler and drier as we move past the cold front passing through on Saturday night. And speaking of just the overall outlook, again, this is kind of gives you an overview of what I've just talked about. So severe weather, wind, hail, tornadoes, that's mainly Saturday night, although it looks like it's going to be more of a wind and hail threat as opposed to a tornado threat, just the way this system is moving in. And the good news is it's going to be weakening as it comes into the area. So it's not going to be nearly as strong as what we'll see in the northwest part of the state. Heavy rain as well associated with that. We have unusually warm and moist conditions in place. It's almost like being in June right now. And so there could be some heavy rainfall that does accompany that frontal passage and that line of storms. And then those hazardous seas, you can see I put the specifics in there. Those northeast and east northeast winds 20 to 25 knots, and the expected seas. And this is going to be out more in the open Gulf waters. The more protected waters will probably be more in the 2 to 5 feet range, but still pretty rough conditions out there for inexperienced people if they decide to get out on their boats. And then of course with those sustained east winds, we could have some flooding, especially during high tide. Right now, I would think mostly like coastal flood advisory type, about 1 to 2 feet above ground level. The more flood prone spots that we see when we have these types of conditions set up. For the outlook, this is the area that's highlighted for the damaging wind gust and hail potential for mainly Saturday night. Really, it's going to cover like Metro Baton Rouge, areas up through southwest Mississippi, could cover parts of the North Shore down through the river parishes and bayou parishes in Houma. But really, I think that the highest potential, the highest probability is going to be basically from Macomb up through or down through Baton Rouge and points northwest of that. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if we see this be trimmed back just a little bit as we move into day 2 tomorrow. So that's something we'll have to keep an eye on. And excessive rainfall outlook, this fits more exactly with kind of the area that I was thinking of for the severe risk as well. It's going to be your southwest Mississippi counties and then down through Metro Baton Rouge, maybe northern portions of the North Shore, but really Baton Rouge and Macomb are going to be, and up through Wilkinson County and those areas of Feliciana are going to be the main area of concern. And we could get some 2 to 3 inch per hour rainfall rates as this line of storms move through. The good news is the line looks like it is going to be pretty progressive, so the rainfall shouldn't last more than 1 to 2 hours. But yeah, there could be 4 to 5 inches of rain that falls in some isolated spots, and that can cause some flooding concerns and issues, even more rural areas. So that's just something we'll have to keep an eye on as we move into Saturday night. And that's really it. So that's once we get past Saturday night, then it's just going to be the wind event, the marine issues, and the coastal flooding issues, because we're going to be dry and much cooler. Will be actually slightly below average as we move into Monday and Tuesday, with highs in the upper 60s and lower 70s, and then we'll warm back up to average by midweek in the mid 70s. So overall, really beautiful conditions once we get past Saturday night. Sunday, I know there's some questions probably about what's going to be going on Sunday for Easter. I know there's some activities going on. So in the morning, we'll have some lingering rainfall. It's going to be cloudy. It'll be a little breezy, but I'm not expecting lightning to be a concern at that time. It's just going to be kind of that post-frontal light rainfall that we sometimes see. And I expect that by late morning, say after 10 o'clock, and then going into the afternoon, conditions will improve quickly. We'll start to see probably the sun peak out even by the time we get to mid-afternoon on Sunday. So it's not a complete washout of a day, but it may start out a little rainy, a little cloudy. And then Saturday and tomorrow are going to be exact carbon copies of what we've been seeing today, yesterday, the day before. Warm, pop-up showers and storms. Maybe if you get a little stronger, maybe put down some brief localized areas of heavy rainfall. Again, very summer-like pattern before we see this cold front move through Saturday night. So that's kind of the latest and greatest as far as what we're thinking for the next 7 days. So I will go ahead and stop my